That's okay.
Good. I'm not either.
You're not going anyplace?
Gophers are tipping off in 1 minute.
Oh, Gophers. That's important.
Virginia Tech.
All right, 6 o'clock. I will call the board meeting to order. District 721 School Board meeting. Please note all members are here except Matt Goldaddy. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Skogerbo. Sorry, you can have a drink before you sit down.
He's wetting his whistle.
He was.
Well, first off, thank you for having me here tonight. Battling a little bit of maybe the same kind of stuff Tim had here for the last couple of weeks, but I'll get through it here. Created just kind of a overview of how things have, or a review of how things have gone so far in the activities department this year. My assistant, Lindsay Banny, has done a very good job and helped me create this file here. So I'll just go through it here quick. It's kind of an update. Fall review, we've had a very good fall. Call it the fall of firsts. We had our swim and dive team was not only the Section 1A True Team champion, they were also the Section 1A champion. They made it to the state meet, first time ever. So happy with the progress that our swim and dive program has shown. I remember when I got here 15 years ago, it was trying to find a place to swim. And the 5:30 in the morning practices, that kind of stuff. So, and really those are the people that kept this program going, that they are really a reason why we are where we are, because we kept building on that. And I told the girls and the coaches, be humble, because this is something that it's not just us right now, it's the people before us that have brought the program to where it is. Our girls cross country team, 50 years, first time they've ever been to the state meet, so that's, and we have a bunch of young girls there, so it's going to be a good program for a while. And our boys soccer team, same thing. When I got here 15 years ago, we didn't win a game for like 3 years, I think, and now we're in the section championship, and is really exciting, and playing a very good team and playing them very well. We just finished up with our fall musical. Mamma Mia just concluded this past weekend. Very well attended, great show. Mr. TG does a great job directing that. If you had a chance to see it, very talented kids. And we had a chance to showcase not just the 2 leads or 3 leads. There was a whole bunch of kids that got to show their vocal talents, and you know, people that are extremely talented. Obviously, we had numerous all-conference and honorable mention all-conference athletes. And other thing I'm very proud of is we host quite a few section events for other sections. They love our facilities, and I love hosting those events. It's a lot of fun. And of those, the girls swim and dive true team, they've said we can have it as long as we want it, because they were so impressed with the way we ran that meet. And that really, my coaches do an outstanding job of keeping that going. Section soccer finals, subsection finals for volleyball, subsection semifinals, and Section 2A football finals are all things we hosted, and we are hosting them again next year already. They've said, put it on your calendar. And I'm also very lucky that we have so many people that are willing to help out. New Pride kids aren't playing, but they still want to come and they do a great job of representing New Prague in our communities. So very thankful to those people. They do a great job. Put together here just our activity participation comparisons. For the last 4 years, you can see at the bottom our totals. We've stayed relatively the same, gone up about 10 over the last 4 years, but it's something that you know, our numbers stay pretty consistent. I'm also the coordinator for the Big Southeast Football District, the one we play in, the 14 teams that are in our district, and created that spreadsheet that shows the comparison of the of our football numbers. And you can see over the 4 years, New Prague is at the top in our numbers of participants in football. So it's, you know, even when Owatonna was winning state championships, we had more kids participating than they did. So it's pretty neat to see that. You know, that's just one program, but that's the one that I'm kind of in charge of that. And so those are, I can share those numbers with you. Okay. Middle school activity participation, show these as well. As you can see, we have we've stayed relatively the same, drop in 2020 for obvious reasons, and but we're at, you know, still about 300 kids every year in our middle school fall programming. Winter high school participation numbers, this is as of now. Obviously, floor hockey hasn't started yet. Speech, we're still trying to, we're still getting registrations for that. You can see again, we're going to have about 300 kids participating in our winter activities. One act play is another one that's not on there, but the registrations just started. It's starting tomorrow. So that'll get those numbers up higher, obviously. And our winter middle school, again, we're at about 110 kids that participate. Again, boys basketball and speech hasn't started yet, so those numbers are not quite where they will end up, obviously. So we'll be 120, 125 kids in the middle school participating. Okay, just to go talk about some of the other things we've done. Obviously, leadership is and teaching leadership is a very important part of any activities department. Back on September 20th, I took a group of 10 kids. There's a new initiative, Together We Make a Difference, sponsored by the Minnesota State High School League. Rochester Mayo, or Rochester Century, held a conference down there. There were about 300 kids that came down to it. Could only bring 10, otherwise I think we would have been able to fill a bus, to tell you the truth. We had a lot of kids that wanted to go, and so we ended up taking these 10 kids, and they were great representatives of New Prague High School. Some of the other student leadership that we've done, obviously, have a fall sportsmanship meetings in the high school auditorium with all high school athletic teams. Sportsmanship was emphasized during all fall class meetings in the auditorium. We hold team captain meetings with each individual sport. We also follow up at a couple points during the season to see how things are going. Is there anything you need our help with? And they know that they can come and talk to us at any time or ask us questions at any time. We've also made a point of communicating with our key fans, those that have been, we've kind of denoted as being the kind of the ones that are in charge of each fan section, and meeting with them. You know, one of the things that's really neat this fall was Mr. Wetchka, our football announcer, had made the announcement for the kids, if you stick around and help clean up the stands of the fan section, we had numerous kids that stayed and did that, is to help out the custodial crew. And they actually did a great job and they enjoyed it. And I think it's something that is teaching them an important life lesson as well. And then winter fan spectator expectations were emphasized just last Monday. We had all 9th graders come in, we talked to them, all 10th graders, so on and so forth, all 4 grades. Read the same statement during all 4 class periods or meetings. Same message that was delivered last winter and spring and also this fall. So it's important that we continue to move in the right direction. And then our activities department improvements, we purchased, it's called Neptune Game Time. I know as an AD, I sometimes worry kids put together a playlist to play for warm-up music. And, you know, it's always clean. There's never any issues, so they tell me. But I'm always a little bit nervous. Neptune Game Time guarantees 100% family-friendly music, and it's chosen by our team captains and/or our seniors. So they pick the music. There's pregame, in-game, post-game announcements on sportsmanship, respecting officials' calls, those kinds of things. So I think it's and talks about fan behaviors. So it's been a very good change for us. We also, our office participates in the Minnesota State High School League lead meetings, which are every Thursday, and go through a different topic each week. And the recent topic was on hosting events and event protocols. And then, obviously, we have supervisors for each of our events. We make sure, we've always had good supervisors, but we make sure even more so to go through expectations. I've included an example of just a football plan. Every single event that we host, where there is a game sheet that goes out to the opposing schools, goes out to the officials, goes out to all of our coaches. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page and know who they can get in touch with if there are any issues. So it's something that we'll continue to do. As I put down there, we look forward to a great rest of the winter and spring seasons, and we appreciate all of the support that the board gives us. And yeah, any questions for me?
You got a big job.
Yeah,
That's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think it was really special this fall with, you talked about cross-country not being in the state ever, 50 years of the program, and then seeing how far that girls swimming and diving and boys soccer have come, things that have been added. And it's really interesting to me to see on the participation numbers. I mean, back when we started boys soccer, that was supposed to hurt our football numbers or whatever, and it has not hurt them at all. It's sort of like adding lacrosse a few years ago. There were people concerned it would affect numbers in baseball and track and field or softball. It has not done it. It's just increased more opportunities.
Right.
And ironically, today was the first day of boys swimming and diving, and that's obviously a new sport for us. We're in our second year of varsity sports, so it's neat to see the numbers of participation. And as Brad was talking about expectations and the behavior of the kids have been. It's been outstanding. I mean, we had crowds, the biggest crowds I think I've ever seen in volleyball this year, and the kids have been great. So we've got some great leadership things going on there. The kids have been great. So it's, thanks, Brad, for your leadership in that.
Right along the same lines at homecoming, some girl came up to Mr. Bell, said she lost her earbuds. It was less than 5 minutes, and there was about 20 kids in a police line walking with their phones, or she thought she lost them, and they ended up finding him. He started looking, and pretty soon there was kids right along. What are we doing? What are we doing? Had a whole line, like I said, about 20 kids, all walking along.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
All right, thanks, Brad.
Thanks,
Okay.
Brad.
Thank you.
We have one open forum. Tom Fadden? You get 5 minutes. All right?
The reason I came to talk tonight, I've been reviewing past board meetings, and the one I'm focusing on is July 25th, when the school board approved the contract for the superintendent for 2 more years. I don't have a concern whatsoever regarding the superintendent's contract. Mr. Dittburner retired, came back. We've done that in the past. Larry Kozlerich is a great example of that. You have to have a superintendent, and I think Mr. Dittburner does a great job. I don't have any concerns whatsoever with that.
Okay.
My biggest concern or frustration, as I reviewed that meeting, the meeting lasted 9 minutes. It took 1 minute and 15 seconds for the board to look at and approve a contract for their superintendent, basically the CEO of the organization. Now, I want to know where your due diligence was in approving a contract for your CEO in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Where did you as a board do your job in reviewing that contract and ask questions? Did you review that contract and look at it thoroughly and make sure you dotted your I's and crossed your T's? It certainly doesn't appear that way to the public. And when I went back and I looked at other board meetings, there doesn't appear to be any discussion regarding a superintendent's contract or workshop or anything like that related to it. So again, I ask, where are you guys doing your homework to make sure you're coming forward and approving a contract that makes sense? Where's the discussion? Basically, it looks like it was a rubber stamp. And it looks very inept on your part, all of you. And I'm like I say, I don't have a problem whatsoever. I mean, I looked at the superintendent's contract. I don't have a problem with the context and everything involved in it. I just feel, as a board, you guys are doing a shoddy job. And you're not doing your homework on it. And you're laughing, Mark Bartuszczyk.
I am.
And I guess if there is discussion about it, is it taking place via email? Are you discussing amongst yourselves via email? If so, then you're violating Minnesota's open meeting laws. Yes, you are. If you guys are talking about this amongst yourselves via email, you're violating Minnesota's open meeting laws. And I would submit to you that under Minnesota State Statute 13.03, anybody in the public can request a copy of your emails to find out anything you guys have been discussing. And then I would like to see what would happen. Anybody in the public can request any of the emails of any of you from the school district. And I want to know what kind of communication you guys have had amongst yourselves discussing topics. Because I would be willing to bet you do it. And I would be willing to bet each and every one of you have violated Minnesota's open meeting laws. Even if one of you talks to every other member, you're taking a roll call. That's violating Minnesota's open meeting laws.
Tom, I can assure you,
Excuse
there was
me?
no discussion.
What's that?
There was no discussion.
Well,
There was
I
no
don't know.
email discussion.
So there was no discussion.
Not amongst, like, I didn't email Mark, and I didn't email Kim, I didn't email Leo. I had questions, and I emailed Sandy, her and I, just the two of us. And if anyone else on the board had questions, they were supposed to direct them to Sandy to get answers.
And I did the same as well.
Thank you. So we came to the meeting prepared. We get our board agenda prior to the meeting.
I understand that.
It is our responsibility to make sure we know what's on the agenda. If we have questions, we ask those questions.
But you don't discuss amongst yourselves?
No, because I got my question answered.
So this is just like a one-person board? You guys don't discuss things, you just kind of make willy-nilly
There's
decisions?
times that we'll discuss it,
How
but
many
my
times have you
questions were
talked to a school
answered.
board member individually?
Many times. I served on the school board.
Yeah, whatever.
But,
Mark,
but
what's
I'm
that
telling
flippant
you,
attitude like?
Tom, I'm telling
Boy, I
you.
wish the public could see this before your election. You're a piece of work, Mr. Bartuszczyk, a real piece of work.
Tom, I am telling you, there was no discussion amongst any of us jointly questioning that.
You got 12
We
seconds
don't do
left.
that.
The
We
emails-
don't.
I'm just saying,
Like I said, the
I
emails are there
question it.
to look at. You
What's
saw-
that?
I
What's
said
that, Leo?
The emails are there to look at. So,
That's time.
and you saw the contract. You didn't see any problem with it.
No, it's not the contract itself,
Then
it's the
what
lack
we-
of, it's
I
the
saw
lack
the
of
contract.
transparency.
Time,
But there was.
You know what,
Got
you took
5
my time
minutes.
by talking to me, there's not supposed to be interaction
5
here.
minutes.
But
You took my
but
time.
Tom, we didn't. I mean, I had questions, and I had a conversation with Sandy one-on-one.
Okay. The only thing I'm going to close here is I encourage anybody in the public that's listening, Minnesota State Statute 13.03. Look at it. You can request emails from the school. You don't have to pay for it as long as you come in and look at it. Make them do their homework and start looking at every email that the school district board sends amongst themselves along with our administration. Free of charge as long as you come in and look at it and don't request printed copies.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Motion for the consent agenda.
Don't move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. All right, time for some meetings. Policy meeting?
No,
Committee, sorry.
no.
Okay. Southwest Metro?
Southwest Metro had their meeting on the 15th of November. Good meeting. A couple of points that I'd like to bring up is the fact that we have another school district that is interested in joining our intermediate district as an associate member, not a voting member, not a complete member, but somebody who would avail themselves of the services of the intermediate district. And that district is Burnsville. Is a district that's interested in joining as an associate member. And I think this was brought up to the superintendents, and if I'm correct, the superintendents thought that would be a good school district to have
Yeah.
on as an associate member.
Yeah, and the main thing though is, with the condition though that there's still room for any member district to be able to get students in. We're having troubles with some of the programs right now that are, let's just say there's a higher need than ever before. And so we just, I think, need to be assured that member districts can still get kids in.
Right, full-fledged members.
Full-fledged
have-
members.
Have first shot at programs and placing their students in those programs.
Yeah, 'cause right now there's been some of the level 4 programs in Jordan or wherever have been more difficult to get into with that. We've got to be assured of that though.
We also talked about the acquisition of the school out in rural Carver County, and we're still working on that. Hopefully, the amount that we offered will be looked at seriously, and we'll see how it comes out. An interesting thing about this way that we're going to be paying for this too is we're actually have applied for and have gotten a grant for mental support programs, which will be housed in this facility, and that is a renewable grant. So, and that grant can be used for the purchase of that building.
Was that East Union?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. the East Union Elementary School, which they chose to.
How long is it
close.
renewable for?
We've got it for 3 years, I believe, for sure. Years it would be more probably paid for with the
Wow.
it's kind of a sweet deal if it all falls into place. And any comments
Awesome.
on that? Tim?
Nope.
No. Okay. So that was a very good highlight that things are going along well. We had our audit report, and our audit came out looking very good. No issues with any of our finances, and that's quite a job too when you consider there are 11 member districts that are part of that media district, and it's a very complicated financial operation to run, and to have a clean audit is a very good accomplishment. My hat's off to Brian Fell, our person in charge of our finances. And let's see. The rest was just basically monthly things that we just would. Good meeting.
Good. Thanks. How about special ed, CPAC?
Did not meet after.
Community ed?
No, got moved to December.
Wellness?
No, that one hasn't.
Whatever happened to
Early childhood?
No.
Fitness and aquatic?
He's not there.
That's a good report, Matt. He'll fill us in later. Brings us to superintendent good news and updates.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of good stuff, obviously, with Mr. Scogable, but everything's going well as we head into, after Thanksgiving break, into our next holiday break here. We'll talk about the calendar in a second here. Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I got stopped by a high school student today. Remind me of the snow day calculator that they use for predictions. But, yeah, the first, you know, I think our staff or our administration have been communicating with families and staff, but the first day is a free snow day. We haven't changed that, and then after that, then it's blended learning. So we'll see what happens, you know, tomorrow, but of course, it's not going to start snowing till, what, 8 or 9 in the morning, so it's like the worst case scenario again, but we'll see what happens, but we'll keep track of that. But, yeah, we start the year out, we're not even December yet with the possible snow day, so we'll see what happens. That's all I got.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, short, sweet, to the point.
Yep.
Okay, so approval for the Spanish trip to Costa Rica. Him giving us highlights again? No? Thanks.
It was presented at the workshop last week, all the details about the exchange piece and the cost and everything. So I think tonight, I think you had a few questions last week that got last 2 weeks ago that got answered. So just looking for approval for that, official approval for that tonight.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Spanish class trip to Costa Rica.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 6-0. Review of the district calendar, 23-24.
Yep, we'll take a look at this again. Showed you this before at a work session. And then, like final approval at it at the December 12th school board meeting. And again, we've got a flexibility waiver from the state of Minnesota. So basically what that does, it allows us to start before Labor Day and end in May. And we've been doing this now, gosh, I think this is the 7th or 8th year of doing this type of calendar. When you do this type of calendar, when you start before Labor Day and still end in May, there's not much flexibility. So I gave the calendar to our president of Education Minnesota, Dan Holgate, who shared it with his executive committee, and they looked over it, and I call them my calendar committee basically now, but saw no changes to make with the calendar. Parents obviously call our office, and they're getting antsy to get the calendar for next year, so it'd be good to get it done before the holiday break. But like it has on there, I mean, we're starting before. Start on the 28th basically with high school, middle school, and we have assessment days for elementary, but all that will take place before Labor Day on the 4th. Not many breaks, but we do, the one spring break we do have, which I think people are going to be happy about, is going to be in the last week of March. The last couple of years have been in early April. So that's a positive thing, I think. And then obviously, as you can see there, we've got graduation on the 24th of May. So, you know, our surveys that we've done with families and staff, it's been very positive to stay with this calendar. So this is the first year of this flexibility waiver. It's a 3-year commitment that we're making. And, you know, right now, as far as with conferences and stuff like that, they're not totally firm, but if there's any changes to be made with that, we'll do it at that time. But the main thing is we need the calendar dates to get going and get approved in December so our families can start making plans. Any questions with the calendar?
Nope.
I know we talked about this at the work session, but
Yeah, we don't need, we'll approve it though in
yep,
December.
I think, yeah,
In December, that's right.
Yeah.
December, yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, whoops, sorry. Oh, Denny, we have a resolution.
Yes, we have a resolution that deals with establishing a combined polling place for multiple precincts and designating hours during which the polling places will remain open for voting for school district elections not held on the day of a statewide election. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Pursuant to Minnesota statutes, the precincts and polling places for school district elections are those precincts or parts of precincts located within the boundaries of the school district which have been established by the cities or towns located in whole or in part within the school district. The board may establish a combined polling place for several precincts for the school district elections not held on the day of a statewide election. Each combined polling place must be a polling place that has been designated by a county or a municipality. And they are as follows. St. Patrick's Social Hall, address Jordan, Minnesota. Elko New Market, address Elko, New Market, Minnesota. Church of the Immaculate Conception Civic Center, located in Lonsdale. Wheatland Town Hall, located in Vesely, Minnesota. New Prague Fitness and Aquatic Center, located in New Prague, Minnesota. This combined polling place serves all territory in Independent School District 721, located in the city of New Prague, Belle Plaine, Scott County. Also, it includes the areas of Rice County and Lesueur County as well that have been designated as polling places for those municipalities and townships as well. How do you vote on this, Leo?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes?
Tammy?
yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Dennis, yes. Item passes 6-0.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.